Hey all, Hipper here. So like I said in my earlier video, I'm trying to spice up this channel a little bit by actually appearing more in the videos here. And today I will be talking through this video here that I was sent by one of my, fellow Agile Cruiser aficionados, Esox Lucius. And we have both been playing this game here, well, forever, basically. And if you've watched this channel, you've seen there's been other videos from Esox here as well. But this one here is quite special because he actually ends up with more than 4,000 XP in a win, and that is pretty good. I'm not sure I actually hit 4,000 XP myself in Minotaur. If I did, I don't remember. Anyway, but here's the video, and as you can see, he is heading in straight for the A-cap right off the bat, which is what you're supposed to do in an Agile Cruiser. And I know for a fact that he plays this Minotaur here in an Agile Cruiser fashion. And you can see that he also has the radar picked. He doesn't have smoke. And a build like this allows you to get in there and really do some damage. So let's just have a look here at what actually goes on, because it's fairly rare that you get 4,000 XP battles unless you play very not overpowered but very powerful ships, and you just get very nice matchmaking. It happens, and it happens to everyone, but it's fairly rare. Like 3,000, 3,500 XP, that's doable on a regular basis, I say, but 4,000 is still kind of rare. And if we talk about XP numbers here, then a 5,000 game is exceedingly rare. I think I have seen a handful over the years, and I'm only counting games with 5,000 XP that was actually played after the changes to premium ships were introduced back when Wichita was the campaign ship, which is a long time ago. Before that, the premium XP was counted in the score, and of course that's not really anything anyone can use for pretty much anything, really. So it looks like he's caught the Shimmer here in a pretty nasty situation. He pushed a little bit too hard, I think, and yeah, what can you do? He probably didn't expect this Minotaur here to have a radar, which is exactly why I always play this ship with radar, because the majority of people out there, they play Minotaurs with smoke, and they sit somewhere and they sit in the smoke and they shoot, and that's it. And then once like the reds have been thinned out a bit, then you can start thinking about moving in your Minnow then. But man, I think that's extremely boring, and I don't want to play like that. And Esox and myself, we tend to gravitate, or not tend to gravitate, we specifically play only with the radar. And there's a few reasons for that. One, it's a lot more fun. And two, you get to scare the pants off destroyers once in a while when they just go into a cap assuming that you just have smoke on your Minotaur like everybody else. And when it then turns out that you don't, you actually have radar on your Minotaur, that's when things get really fun. And that's why I like, builds that are a little bit different, surprising, and I wish we could create a lot more different builds with a lot more, different variables in them. And it has become better lately, especially with the introduction last update of the epic modifications, and that in some way allows you to create ships that are unique in some fashion. You can still do that because you have the commanders that you can set up in whatever shape or form you want, so they match how you like to play the game. And also the ship, you can also set that up in less of a detailed manner, I think, because the modules on the ships, although there are 3 or 4 for each module, sometimes only 2, there's really only one that you should pick in each module, maybe 2, and it also depends on the ship type. It's the ship modifications are fairly set in stone. They're not very flexible. really like a destroyer. You can pick rudder or you can pick concealment. That's it, and that's 2 options. Not enough, in my opinion. The commanders on top does give you a lot of extra modifications along with the inspirations, also very important. So that way you can build the ship to your liking without actually modifying the ship itself, which is really cool. That's not enough. Definitely not. That's not enough. And that's where the epic modifications comes in. Because getting one of those modifications, you can change one of the ship modules, the ones that are a little bit disappointing in the first place, to actually give you some bonuses. And if I can say something here, and I will because I'm a CC, I can say what I think should be changed in the game. That's pretty much what I do. I think that Wargaming should, go all the way with these epic modifications. And they should start making legendary modifications as well, or standard modifications and whatever modifications, whatever they can come up with, really. And also unique modifications and set modifications. So if you win like an arena season, whatever, you get a unique modification that's, as the name kind of says, it's unique. Only one player in the whole game has that exact modification. Now, it doesn't have to be a modification that's a lot better than other modification. That doesn't matter. It just has to be unique. So say you have a reload modification that gives you a standard 5% improved reload and 5% improved concealment. The unique version of that could then be 6% concealment on top. So just not enough to actually really make a difference, but enough to make it unique. And I think that would make some of the more veteran players a lot more interested in playing, things like arena or ranked and stuff like that, where, sometimes, and I know that myself, that's why I don't play ranked and I don't play arena, because I think it's extremely painful and people don't know how to play it, basically, so I just don't bother. Standard is bad enough. I don't need any more terrible game modes to make me occupy my time. The only one I play is ranked when it's 1 versus 1. I love that, on the other hand, because obviously you don't have any teammates to contest with, and you can try out, so many different funny builds and see how do they actually work against other players. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you get up against potato players anyway in this mode, and that's just too bad. That's the way it is. But in general, I think 1 versus 1 is probably one of the best additions to the game in a very long time, and I can't wait to see it come back, especially at tier 7, tier 8, and at legendary tier as well. I don't think we've had that yet. So that's an exciting, prospect for me. I think it should be a permanent game mode, really. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I think it should be. And that would, play into what I was saying before about legendary modifications and how you are able to, should be able to build your ships like in a very, very specific manner, just the way that you want them. So I kind of sometimes compare this to Diablo, where you can. There's different, types of ships, just like there's different types of warriors or whatever you want to call them in Diablo or Skyrim for that matter. Any role-playing game, really. And you set those archetypes up to play the way that you want to play. So you pick their skills, and usually there's a huge skill tree full of everything, well, lots of stuff that you can pick. And if you want to play range, you do that. If you want to play sneaky, you do that. If you want to be like full on in your face, you do that. And you can do it all pretty much regardless of what class you choose. And of course, some classes are better at some things than compared to other classes. That's like a given. And of course, you have to take that into account. But the many different ways you can choose to build or spec, whatever you want to call it, in a game like Diablo should, in my opinion, be copied to World of Warships Legends to allow us to have those like amazing, funny builds. And another thing I think should be added, and I know we're not talking at all about this Minotaur game here going on in the background. I'm sorry, Esox, but I'm just going off on a tangent here, and you'll just have to accept it. Now, what I said was, in Diablo, for example, you also get stuff like diamonds and jewels you can put in your slots on your weapons, for example, to give them special, abilities. I think that should be included in World of Warship Legends as well. So that way you can you are able to spec your ships like even more specific into like very narrow roles, or very generic roles. Doesn't matter. It's exactly up to what you think. And the good thing about this is that you're not actually modifying the ship itself, because I mean most of these ships, at least in the beginning of the game, maybe not so much anymore, like they were real ships, you know, real crews and real history behind them. And I for one wouldn't like to see you know, the ability to modify the ships themselves, because I mean ships should be fairly static. Modules, okay, but it's not like I want people to add turrets onto a Yamato or something, so you have like 7 turrets on your Yamato one suddenly. Like no, that's not what I want. I want specific personalized builds, but I want the ships to stay the way they are, so we actually have at least a little bit of, you know, authenticity in this game here, a little bit of actual World War II feeling when we play it. That's my opinion anyway. So let's see, how far is Lucius along here. He's at 121,000 damage, and there's only him left versus 3 enemy ships. And I mean, yeah, he should have been dead, but he is certainly fighting the good fight here, and he does have a chance to actually, you know, win this game here, because the Musashi is really low, and just a few good hits before he's able to reload. And there he goes. That's it. Well done. That's, I mean, 1 hit from that battleship and he would have been gone, and the battle would have been over. And sure, there's luck involved in all these ship battles. Yeah, that's just something that we all have to accept, really. All right, so let's get back to it here, where you know, Lucius is in kind of a tight spot here. He has a Worcester on one side, and you know, it's a good spot because he can't torp the Worcester right there where he's sitting, and there's battleship approaching from the other side, so he's in you know, a bit of a problem here. But he's angled nicely, so the AP doesn't really do anything from this Worcester, and as long as he moves in, and you know, as he's doing now, setting up that torp run there, then he can get rid of the Worcester, and there's only a battleship left. And a battleship is not much of a problem in Minotaur, to be honest. And neither is this Worcester here, because like he's taking far too long to fire. Don't know what's going on there. And then yeah, the torps just take him out. So excellent. Yeah, don't know. I don't know what was going on there, because like that Worcester should have won this battle here, definitely. But he didn't. So Friedrich der Große here, yeah, he's approaching, but obviously Lucius is ahead on points, and that's why I always like preach in my agile cruiser videos is, you know, get to those caps, get ahead on points first. That's your absolute first thing to do, and once you have secured 1 cap, preferably 2 caps, that's when you start to actually try to sink the enemies, really. Well, of course, you should try to sink enemies beforehand, but primarily the destroyers. Mostly everybody else is hanging back anyway, so it's better just to grab the cap, get that cap secured, whack the destroyer if you can, and then start, you know, bringing in those tickets. That will allow you to, you know, play the game a little bit more, you know, easy in the last few minutes. So we're pretty much at the end of the battle here, and the Kurfürst, or whatever it was it a Große? I think it was a Große, yeah. He's too far away. He's sitting, well, far too far away to be any threat, so all Esox here really has to do is just to sit and wait to win on points. And like I said, points, that's that should be your main goal as an agile cruiser. Kill destroyers and cap, get ahead on points, and then just, you know, wait for the victory, just like what's going on here. And as you can see, he's got 4 kills. He was cheated out of that Shima kill in the beginning. That would have been a Kraken, but other than that, 200,000 damage, that's really good. And let's just see the actual XP here, because that's why the video is interesting. Well, more than interesting. There we go, 4100 XP. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you out there.